What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Bridgeport Knife Co. Bodey LL. Now this is in, of course, via the Lefty passaround group, and this is the latest iteration and creation from Garrett over at Bridgeport Knife Co. If you guys have been, long-term viewers of the channel, I have reviewed and owned the 395. I really missed out on the 395 V2, the updated version with 20 CV, and he added thumb studs with the thumb hole. I'm kind of kicking myself for not grabbing one of those within the last year of him dropping. I think he's done 2 drops. Really love that knife. I've also reviewed the 1827. Really enjoyed that knife as well. And now we have the Bodey LL, which is another pretty fantastic EDC offering from him. I'm a big fan of his stuff. He just designs really good, usable, simple, everyday carry knives, and the Bodey LL is really good. I do have 2 small nitpicks with it, but other than that, they can kind of be fixed, I think. But I'm a big fan of them. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the review, give you guys my opinions, my thoughts, and you guys know how we do. I am going to leave a link to the Bodey LL down below. It is still, so this is a pre-order, but the pre-order is still open for both variations of the knife. It says on the website that they're supposed to be aiming around a March release, so about a month and a half from now, which is great. And it's cool that it is still an open pre-order, that you can grab one if you, I think the pre-order was like a month or 2 ago. So it's cool that it's still open. You can, go grab one if you really like what you're seeing here on the video. It'll be linked down below if you guys are interested in going and checking it out. But yeah, we got the Bodey LL here. You guys can see that this is a titanium knife. You got multiple ways of deploying the knife with a back flipper, kind of a modular, close to the body back flipper that I really like that companies are starting to use. You have a front flipper, and you have a hole for deployment. You have a reversible milled titanium clip, and that is one of the small issues here. Is out here, this thing is so sharp, it could probably just be rounded off a little bit, or maybe sandpapered off a little bit. But right here, the lip of the clip is the sharpest I've ever felt on a pocket knife before. It's honestly painful to get it to pop over anything if you have to use your finger. So that's one nitpick. But I'm sure it can be worked around or finished off a little bit. And I don't know if this is just maybe a sharpened edge, and that's just kind of a one-off issue, but just something I found on kind of the fit and finish of the knife. But it is nice. You can lefty or righty reverse it. You have a sheep's foot style blade here, nice long, nice thin blade stock, square hole for deployment, jimping up top here. You have plenty of internal milling on both sides, more so on the show scale side. You do have nice milling on there, pretty lightweight. You do have a milled backspacer, which is nice as well. And it comes in with a liner lock with a lot of scalloping and a little bit of milling right there. And that's where my second issue comes into play. And I know that this might be a prototype. I'm not 100% sure if it's just an early production model. But this version, I'll try to be quiet. There is a good amount of lock rock. I thought it at first was from the pivots walking. I tightened them up, so they're pretty, good to go. But there is a good amount of. If you go back and listen up with your volume the whole way, you might be able to hear that. But there is a little bit of lock rock, which just kind of throws the knife off a little bit, altogether. It just feels like something's loose, even though the pivot is tight and there's, all the screws are nice and tight, which for screws, it's really nice. You basically have, it's a pivot screw, and it's a, over here you get the pocket clip screw, and on this one you get the filler plate screw. So it's a pretty, streamlined, pretty minimalistic as far as screw construction is considered. But yeah, you do have a little bit of lock rock there, and it's kind of annoying. I don't know what exactly it's from, if other people experience, because this is a pass-around knife, so it gets passed around and used, and not abused by any means, but definitely get used and carried and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that on there as well. But 14C 28N on the blade, which is fantastic. You guys know, one of my favorite blade steels. So yeah, as far as materials go, this is one of those niche knives that are, Kubi's doing it a lot, which Kubi is the OEM on this. That kind of doesn't make, Garrett's the one deciding it, but it makes sense that Kubi is OEMing something like this. Kubi is really putting a lot of stuff out there with 14C and titanium in that $120, $130, $140 price range. And it's starting to become a thing, kind of like it's like premium, but like budget with the steel as well. But as far as materials go, 3 ways of deploying the knife: front flipper, back flipper, hole, milled clip. That can work pretty well. Just needs to be fixed a little bit. Beautiful dark acid or dark stone wash on the entire blade, entire handle. I really like that. So we're gonna go 5 out of 5 on the materials. No complaints whatsoever. And like I said, the two issues I have are easily worked around. The lock rock can be fixed. I'm sure if you took the knife apart, clean it up really good, make sure everything was super, snug and where it's supposed to be. And then the clip, I don't know if that's been changed or not, but that's, I guess, like the only real true issue I have with it. So some quick specs before we move on. So we have a blade length of, it says about 3.3 inches, an overall length of tip to butt about 7.5 inches. You get a blade stock thickness of 2.88 millimeters. And it does not have a weight on here, which is interesting, but it's pretty lightweight. I would say it's probably around 3.5 ounces, which is pretty on brand, I would say, for a 3.3 inch blade in titanium. Next up, we're going to talk about aesthetic. I think this knife looks great. I am a big fan of all of his designs. I'm a big fan of sheepsfoot style blades. This one's real nice, long, slender. You get that nice tip up here, thin along the edge. The handle is just very, very simple. It's pretty much a straight line. You get a finger groove right here. You do get a choil. All around, it just looks really good. I do like how the pocket clips look. These are, pretty. Garrett keeps pretty much the same style of clip on all 3 of his knives, which is really good. Functions very well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the knife, and you guys know I am a big fan of these dark stone washes. They are great. For some reason, I'm attracted to them. To me, they're more of like a worker finish, but I am a big fan of how they look on a lot of different knives. So as far as aesthetics are going, we're going 5 out of 5. Talking about action now. Of course, the knife's on bearings, back flipper, front flipper, hole for deployment. Start with the back flipper. Pops out very well. The detent is, I would say, in the medium range. It's definitely not stiff, but it's definitely not light as well. But the back flipper works phenomenal. Nice amount of jimping right here. Finger just lands right up top, pulls it right down. I'm a big fan of these back style flippers that are kind of integrated into the knife like this way as opposed to this way. It's becoming a thing, and I want to say Vero was kind of the pioneer behind that. They did a lot of flippers like that on their knives, but it works very, very well. Then you have the hole, thumb flicks, really, really good, consistent. Reverse flick is money. Then you have, of course, the slow roll. And last but not least, you have the front flipper, which is probably my least favorite of the 3 opening methods. I like that it is basically flush with the top of the knife here. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if the detent, it functions well. I just much prefer the hole for my thumb or my middle finger or the back flipper. For some reason, I just wasn't really attracted to the front flipper that much on this knife, but it's still good. I guess I just prefer the other 2 methods that much more, but it still is very solid, very snappy when it comes out. Then of course, like we said, there is no blade play. There's just this lock rock, so that kind of again makes it feel a little bit weird, makes it feel a little bit loose, even though it's not in that sense. But I really love the amount of scalping, the amount of milling right there on the liner lock. Drops to your thumb once you're closed, drops to your thumb, a couple micro shakes. Very, very smooth. Kubi kills it with the action. They are just very, very good with what they do now. And this feels like a Bridgeport Knife Co knife. It's very on brand with the 395. It's very on brand with the 1827. They all just kind of have the same amount of feel to them, and that's the same way with like the handle finishes. And I don't know, Garrett just gets them to do a really good job at Kubi, and they all are very good, and they all feel the same. So action is good. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I don't think that there is anything really, noteworthy. And while I don't love the front flipper, it's still good. I just don't really enjoy it as much as I do as the other opening methods on the knife. So 5 out of 5. Moving on to acoustics. Good. Definitely not great by any means. I'm feeling like a 4. I think that's pretty fair. It's better than a 3.5, but I don't think it's any more worthy of a 4.5 or a 5. Definitely not a 5. The milled out areas in the knife definitely help a little bit with acoustics. And it is, it is pleasant to hear. So we're going to go 4, and we'll just leave it at that. So next up is ergos. Now, the ergos on the 395 are very, very good. As we talked about earlier, very simple design. You have a, pretty much parallel lines here on the handle, pretty neutral, really no finger grooves except for the one up here. I can get all 4 fingers on this knife. I'm not going to say very, very easily because I am just fitting on there, but I'm not squished. I'm not crammed, by any stretch of the imagination. It's very, very comfortable. The scalloping on the knife on the edge right here, I don't know if my camera will pick that up, but it has a little bit of micro jimping along the whole outside, which is really good. It's not enough that you really notice it, but now that you know it's there, you're like, oh, it kind of just gives you that little bit of edge in the ergo department that makes it very, very comfortable to hold on to use, to fidget with, to cut with, all the things you do with your knife. The titanium, the dark stone wash has a really nice finish to it. The pot clip is nice and very, very flush, and it's a flat clip, so it spreads out very, very well, very nice into the hand. Can't feel it whatsoever. Then, of course, you can choke up here. You utilize the finger groove with your middle finger. 2 fingers follow suit. Your pointer finger wraps around the choil. Your thumb has a nice amount of jimping right there on the blade if you want to land on the jimping, or if you want to land out here for push cuts. You get really good control. Very thin edge, gives you great cutting ability. It's very, very comfortable. You guys can see I am choked up, locked in there. If you want to do anything precision, you have to be careful. Very, very good for that as well. Pinch grip works really good. This is a great blade shape for it. Just drops your point down in there and utilize the cutting things that you need to do. But yeah, ergos are fantastic. I am very, very pleased. And that's, again, you kind of see a similar theme here, but all of the Bridgeport Knife Co knives that I've handled have been very comfortable ergonomically. So Garrett really knows what he's doing when he designs, comfortable knives. Next up is carry. Now, as much as I like the clip from an aesthetic standpoint and from an ergo standpoint, it is a little bit flush to the pocket. And again, that is kind of a big issue in my opinion. The very, very, you guys can hear it catching on my finger. It is very, very sharp. So I don't know if that was, taken care of and changed for the production. I just think that there might be better off to have a little bit more material there on the edge of the clip to make it not so sharp. It goes in a pocket, kind of cumbersome from that. And you just have to be careful with having thicker pockets or thicker pants. This might bound up a little bit because you really don't have much leverage in there. But it is lightweight, for what it is. You do have a flipper tab way down here at the bottom, but, you're never going to really catch on it as much as you would with like a big, pocket pecker flipper up here on top. So if it is in your pocket, you don't have to worry too much about going down underneath it for change, chapstick, coins, things like that. I guess coins and change are the same thing, Alex. But it carries, for weight-wise, pretty well. It's very thin, very slim, comfortable. I just have an issue with the clip, and I would love to see, hopefully that was maybe taken care of. I don't like how sharp it is, and to me that hinders it a little bit. It still carries pretty well, but all things considered, I am going to give it a 4. Hopefully that was taken care of. And I don't know if there's other people out there that think the same way as I do, but I just think it's a little bit of an issue. But if that's the only issue on the knife, then the knife's pretty damn good. But yeah, we're going to go 4 on the carry and move on to price point / value / would I recommend this knife. The price point on the Bodey LL is $145. So the pre-order, it's weird. The pre-order is still open, but I'm sorry. Okay, so you can, so it's $145, but if you read down through it, the pre-order price is $135 and the discount is taken at checkout. So once you add it to your cart and check it out, it'll take $10 off. But whenever the pre-order ends and the knives ship out, if you get one after the fact, it's $145. So if you grab one now, link in the description down below. $135 I think is very, very fair. You're getting really nice, budget premium materials. You get really nice finish here on the blade and the handle. You guys know I already said I love this sort of dark stone wash. It's a really good finish. I'm a big fan of it. 14C 28N on the blade steel. Love this sheepsfoot style blade. You get multiple ways of deploying the knife with a back flipper, a front flipper, and a hole. The actions work very, very good on all of them. Fun to fidget with, great drop, great close. And really besides the lock rock, this is like, I've had so many Kubi OEM products in over the years, both in my own personal collection and pass-around knives, and I've never had an issue with the lock rock before. So I'm just going to write it off as a one-off issue, and I wouldn't put too much thought into that because, like I said, this might just need cleaned and taken apart and put back together in the correct manner, and that might solve that. But the action is very good, comfortable in hand, really good ergonomics, great cutting ability. This is a winner. This is honestly a very, very good product from Bridgeport Knife Company. I was considering getting in the pre-order as well, and having this in, it makes me might want to grab one. So we'll see where my other knife purchases are lying in the year of 2025. But I am definitely considering picking one of these up because I think it's a great model. You can get it, I forgot to mention this earlier, you can get it either in this version or you can get a blacked out blade with blacked out hardware, which looks really good too. I would probably get this one because I like a nice uniform dark stone wash. For $135, I think that's a very, very good price. I think that's a pretty good value. And it's even better because you're buying it directly from Garrett or Bridgeport Knife Company. And we have this discussion every once in a while, or I bring it up on the channel, where boutique brands tend to be a little bit more expensive, just because that's how they are, that's how they operate. They got to make their money to keep producing things like that. And I can honestly see someone charging, $150, $160, somewhere like that. So I think this is a great price, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 as far as values are considered. And I can just do some quick math here to tell you that the Bodey LL is getting a 33 out of 35, which lands it in the fantastic category. We'll see where did I put the 1827? Should be on here somewhere from last year, I think, right? All right, the 1827 also got a 33, so it's pretty good, very consistent through the 2 models that I've done since I've started doing my new review system and categories. But 33, fantastic. I think it's great. It's a really good knife. It's very thin, very slim. I think it's a winner for Garrett, and I would love to see him come out with some more models, some more, maybe some scales for it, different things like that. And I'm just excited to see what he has, planned in the future. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So this was my full review of the Bridgeport Knife Co. Bodey LL. Huge shout out to Lefty EDC for always allowing us to check out cool stuff. Huge shout out to you guys as well. Leave a comment down below. Did any of you guys pick up the Bodey LL on the pre-order? Or now that you've seen it, are you going to go grab one right away? I always love to hear what you guys have to say. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.